Okay, so today we'll discuss about more details of this ECC. I mean the architecture of ECC, and then we'll move to this implementation methodologies and so on. Okay, so basically, you know that this is a three-tier architecture that we will have three layers: database layer, application layer, and the front-end presentation layer. Okay, but then how the data stores. So whatever details you give, whatever details the end user keys in the system, so that data is feeded into the database. So we have one database and then one front end system. Okay, the front end system is this SAP logon or the SAP GUI. All right. So whatever data we give in, so that data goes and feeds straight in this application layer and then gets replicated in this database layer. Okay. So this is how it is. So behind the scenes, we have tables. So every screen you see has a different table. So in that tables, again, we will have different fields. So every information that you key in stores in a different particular table in particular field in SAP. So if you want to do some change in a particular screen, you have to go to that particular table and change that particular field in the table. Also, we can do joins. If you want to create reports, we can plug in or we can join different tables. So I will let you know about, I mean, we will discuss about this query later. So how to do joins, how many types of joins we have, all this we will discuss when we discuss about the report creation, creating sales reports or material reports. Okay. So this is the background. So in the behind the scenes, the SAP behind the scenes, how data stores in a table. So just like an Excel, SAP also has columns and rows. So all the data in a table stores in the form of columns and rows. Okay, so this is how the system runs. So now that you have seen the client, you already know what is a client. Um, so we will have in the database, now that I'm speaking about database, in database we will have three types of settings like customizing objects, repository objects, and global settings. So these are technical details. So we will discuss more in detail about this customizing objects, repository objects, and global settings later in the later session. So for now, I will move on and then we will discuss about the implementation methodologies. Uh, so we have different types of implementation methodologies in SAP. For SAP ECC, there is one implementation methodology which is called the ASAP methodology. This we have already discussed yesterday as a brief. Now I will give you, I'll explain you in detail what is ASAP methodology. Apart from this, now the latest methodology which everybody is implementing is SAP Activate methodologies. That is for only S4 HANA. For ECC, even S4 HANA can also be implemented using the same ASAP methodology. So there is no hard and fast rule that ECC should be implemented only in this ASAP methodology and SAP S4 HANA should be implemented in SAP Activate methodology. A lot of companies also have implemented SAP S4 HANA using this ASAP methodology. This is the core or this is the backbone of SAP actually. So because of the fast pacing world or fast changing world, because of the customer, changing customer needs, they have adopted a new technology or a new methodology, and then they have implemented few few cosmetic changes, but then the base concept is same. Okay, so here in this implementation scenario, we have two partners. One partner is an implementation partner, and another partner is the person who's running a business. Let's say Walmart is running a business, and Wipro has to implement, or Wipro has approached Walmart for implementing SAP. They already have an existing solution of Oracle. Now they want to implement SAP ECC. Okay, so once the proposal is through, like once the Walmart people are through, um, has agreed with the proposal, then there will be certain phases for implementing this project. So the first phase will be the presentation, the project preparation phase, wherein there will be functional experts from the Walmart side as well as the Wipro side. So both these functional experts will meet. They will discuss about the business processes. These Walmart people, they will explain their business processes, and we will have to map their business processes. And then in this phase, we will also do all these agreements, all the it's called kickoff meeting, where we will discuss about financials, we'll discuss about the architecture, project landscape, and also the budget, timing of the project. Everything will be discussed and signed off. So this phase is called project preparation phase. So in this phase, all initial planning is done, and then once we move on to the next phase, so this phase is called blueprint phase. It's also called BBP phase. So in this phase, we will have to do the documentation of the client's business. Okay, so in this documentation, we have two types of documentations, main documentations. One is the as is study, which means we have to go to the client's business, we have to study his whole business, map it, we have to make workflows, and we have to do all this. We have to do workflows, and then we have to create a complete theoretical documentation of his business. So this process is called as is study. So once we do that, we will have to map this client's existing business into SAP, and we will also create workflows in as to how we will also create workflows as to how SAP will work once it is mapped once the client's business is mapped in SAP, and then we will submit this document to the client. So once the client approves this, then we will start the other phase, which is called realization phase. In this realization phase, first system setup is done, the installation, first the landscape is done, and then installation of SAP, which is done by basis case. So once the installation of SAP is done, then we will start the initial configurations. Again, in configurations, we have two types: standard configuration and then gap analysis. So we will talk about gap analysis in a bit. So once we do the initial configuration, then we will move to final preparation phase. So in this phase, all the complex or technical developments which has to be done, like some standard process, some process of the client is not there in standard SAP process. So in such cases, the technical consultants and we have to give the logic, and the ABAPer guys, they will create a flow, they will do the configuration in the development system. So we have to test that with some demo data. So all the testing and training of end users. So this concept of training is again different here. So we don't go and train the end users directly, we will have to train one core user. Like every end users will have some core business users, right? For every department, there will be departmental heads. So we have to go and train these departmental heads. It is called user acceptance training. So in this phase, only testing and training is carried out, and all the bugs which are there will be tested out in this phase. So once all the bugs are finished, all integrations are done, all testing is done, then even the training is done, then we will move over to the go live activities. Here there is something called cutover activities. So cutover activities involves in data migration from legacy system to the standard, the actual live system. So these are called cutover activities. Apart from migration, there will be other activities like creation of end user documents, creation of training documents, creation of user manuals, all everything will be done before we make the system live. So once the system is live, we have to give some support. We will be supporting the client for a certain period of time, like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, like that. So after go live, also we will have so many issues, and also we have to do a lot of training. The end user training is most critical part, so we have to train them multiple times. So this process goes on. Once the system is live for at least 6 months, it takes time to stabilize. So after the system is stabilized, and then if the customer wants to move over to another partner, then it is called support phase. So Wipro goes out and we let's say IBM comes in. So this is a support phase. So from after 1 year of implementation, then IBM or whoever it is will come and run this business. Okay. So there is also another phase called run, which is operating your own business. Like Asian Paints in India and runs its own business. I mean, runs its own SAP solution, which means it has its own consultants. Recruitment happens. I mean, they will handle their own solution. They will hire their own consultants, in-house consultants, and then they will hire their solution. They don't have any third-party partners, so they are running their own solutions. When a business reaches to that stage, then it is called run phase. So these are the phases that we have in SAP accelerated methodology or extended methodology. It is called accelerated methodology. So further to this, if we drill down, let's see what type of roles and responsibilities we have. So in project preparation, we will do the initial project planning. Project procedures will be streamlined and determined, and then project members and the training teams will be determined. There will be something called project kickoff meeting where it's like a technical, I'm sorry, it's like a official start of the project, and then we will take technical requirements. In business blueprint, we will do gap analysis. We will do this as is study and then to be study, and then we will um, document their business processes, and then we will do some steps like we will do this workflow. And then in realization, we will do the baseline configurations, and then we will do final configurations. We will do unit testing and documentation. We will do, if there are any integrations, we will do integration testing. Also, as I told you, we will do end user training, and then documentation will be done. We will do the system consistency check and quality check. This also comes under testing only. So moving over, the fourth phase will be final preparation phase, where we will do data migration or cutover activities. Cutover activities are nothing but data migration. And then we will do the end user training again. Here we will do the system check or quality check. And in Go Live, we will have to, in Go Live, there's not, I mean, we will do the cutover activities and system migration, data migration, and we will do the ongoing support issues. We will handle with the ongoing support issues. So this is how it is. So these are the 5 phases that we have in ASAP methodology. So coming to gap analysis stands for, I mean, gap analysis has something called RISEF configuration. In RISEF, W stands for workflows, which means is the client having any workflow? Workflow stands for automation. So we will discuss about workflows, automations in the further classes. So R stands for reports, which means does the client need any customized or um, um, customize the reports, and if we have any integrations to be made. So do we have integrations? We have to determine those integrations. C stands for conversations. Conversations can be anything like the unit conversation, raw material conversation to final FG conversation, or any other unit conversations can be um, will be accounted here, will be noted here. And then enhancements, if there is something missing in the standard process, then we have to do enhancements. So what kind of enhancements are required, that we have to document. And forms, Forms are nothing but reports, but then there is a minute difference between smart forms and reports. So we will discuss about what are forms and what are reports in further classes. I'll also explain you how to create forms. There is a tool called Screen Painter, which the ABAPers use for creating customized forms. So that also we will explore in this training curriculum. So this is called RISEF. So RISEF is done for gap analysis, doing gap analysis. So gap analysis is why do we do gap analysis? Because if there is something missing in the standard business, for example, client needs a two particular fields that are not there in our standard sales order document, sales order form, okay, sales order screen. Okay, so in such scenarios, we have to create those fields and then merge those fields in this sales order, standard sales order, right? So in such scenarios, we have to do the gap analysis. First, we will do whatever configuration is available in the standard system, that configuration we will do. That is called baseline configuration. So whatever customization is required, that we will have to sit with these technical consultants, do gap analysis, and then we have to configure those settings in system, and then we will do testing also. Okay, so our part is to take the logic, give it to the technical consultants. Once the configuration is done, again we have to test it with multiple dummy data. So this is the role of SD consultant. So this is ASAP methodology. So you have any questions?
So this comes under which it's a blueprint, right? The gap analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, in blueprint we will do gap. We will also have to showcase gap analysis.
What is the other methodology you told for SAP for HANA? What is it
That's
called?
activate methodology. The concept is same, just the phases are different. They've introduced something called best practices in S/4HANA. So instead of doing everything from the scratch, we will use some standard templates, we will use best practices, and then do the implementation. That will actually fasten the process. Now in ECC, it takes 8 months for implementation, but in S/4HANA, that too in cloud, it takes hardly 1 month to 45 days for for implementing a project.
How do you spell active?
Activate methodologies.
I guess as for HANA, it's not that much implemented currently. Maybe there are very percentage-wise very few companies around the world,
Yeah.
right? It's the latest. What is the latest? How do you call latest as for HANA? Is the latest version you call it, or what do you call?
Sorry, in the latest version, sorry, I missed it.
So as for HANA won't be that much right now in the market compared to ECC, right?
Yes. Right now, we don't have much implementations of S/4HANA, but in future, there will be only S/4HANA. ECC um,
Yeah.
will be out of the game. I mean, I think they're trying to stop support for ECC and then only move over to S/4HANA.
Mhm.
I'm actually searching for one BBP document. Um, Somehow I think I missed it. So tomorrow I will search and I'll show you for a sample preprint. So this is ASAP methodology. Um, Next we will discuss about the master data. So SAP has three types of data: master data, transactional data, and customizing data. So master data is the data which will not change. Okay. Uh, let's say you are, you are ordering something in Amazon. Okay. When you order something in Amazon and look at the invoice, or if you compare two invoices in Amazon, okay, you will see certain data which is standard data like your name, address, phone number, bank details. All these are standard details. They will not change for every order. There are details which will be changing for every order, like the item, the quantity, size, or the delivery location. This might change, right? So that data which has which will change or which is dynamic is called transactional data. And likewise, there is some data which is customized data. Customized data, which stands for data which is not there in standard system. Like earlier, I've told you that if the client wants a couple of new fields in the sales order. So if we have imagine that we have created two different customized user defined fields, we have included two different fields in the sales order, and then we are feeding data into that sales order, and that sales order is posted into delivery, and then we have also posted an invoice for that sales order. Okay. So if you look at the sales order, I mean, if you look at the invoice behind the scenes, this data whatever is entered in the customized fields or the user defined fields is stored in customized or user defined tables. So this data which this data is not stored in the system generated standard tables. So every field in SAP has tables, and that data is stored in those tables. For example, if you want to retrieve certain data or if you want to look certain data only from the sales orders, so there is a table called VBAK where you can go into sales order tables, and then see what data, what data has been entered for what customer, like that we can search. So whenever there are customized fields, customized data cannot be found in the standard table. So for customized data, customized tables are there, user defined tables are there. So all the data which is keyed in the customized fields stores in customized tables, user defined tables. So such kind of data is called customized data, wherein this data is customized by us. So we will create user defined tables, user defined fields. So all the data which is keyed in, or all the data which is fielded into the user defined fields, will be saved in the user defined tables. So if you want to do some changes, or if you want to see the data, check the data, delete data behind the scenes, you have to go to the customized table, user defined tables. You won't find this data in the standard tables. So I will show you what type of tables we have in terms of SAP SD in the later classes. So this is about data. When we come to master data, we have five types of master data. We deal with five types of master data in SAP. Is as for HANA, or this table. Uh, there should be one slide here. It is deleted somehow. Okay, so I'll explain you through Excel. So we have, since this is SAP SD, we have customer master data. We will have a material master data, or we will deal with material master data, and we have to deal with customer info CMIR, which is customer info records master data. Sorry, customer material info record. So this is a different master data that we have. And then we will have condition master data. Condition master data deals with pricing. Next, we will deal with business partner master data. So these are the master data that we deal with in as a SAP SD consultant. Okay. So this is the introduction of SAP ECC. Now we'll move on further to we will see how a sales cycle looks like, and then I'll show you we will move to the navigation part, and then the organization structure. So this is a typical O2C cycle, or a typical order to cash scenario. So here the business process starts from sales order. This customer will order or has confirmed a sales order. So the sales order is raised by the SD guys. So once we raise a sales order, we will have to do material availability check. If we want to, if MRP stands for material requirements planning. So I will show you what is MRP. How do we activate that? So once MRP is activated, system will automatically do this material availability check. In case if material availability check is done and required quantity is not there, we have to pass on this information to um, certain departments. For example, if we have to pass on this information to guys, we have to do the transfer of requirements. So transfer of requirements stands for uh, transferring the requirements whatever we have from SD to or other departments, PP. Uh, this we will do this transfer of requirements when we don't have material in inventory. Either we have to procure it from a vendor and then give it to the customer, or we have to procure raw material from the vendor and then produce it, do the manufacturing, and then we have to send it to the customer. So for manufacturing, there are certain processes, like we have to raise a production order, and then we have to do the production planning, and then we will have to do all this manufacturing in the shop floor. Certain processes and routines are there. So for that purpose, we transfer this requirement to guys or the production guys. So how do we transfer these requirements? I'll explain you that in the coming classes. So once we send requirements, this material management guys, they will order a purchase order to the vendor. They will send purchase order to the vendor. The vendor will send the stock, and then we will have to, the vendor will send the stock, and also he will send the invoice receipt. So once we get invoice receipt, we will send it to the financial department. So once we get a sales order, we will push that requirement to the delivery people. So once the delivery is finished, again customer, we have to send the invoice to the customer. So customer, if he has to clear that invoice, that will route to the finance and controlling department. Again, likewise in production planning also, if we have to produce something and then send it to the customer. So we will send requirements to the PP guys. They will produce that. And in case if MRP is activated, then there will be sales forecast and planning. So I will explain you how a system does this forecast and planning. So MRP does that. So we have to activate MRP, and then once it is activated, the forecasting will be done. So based on the forecast, based on demand and supply, system will automatically recommend certain volumes of quantities to be produced. Okay. And then if credit limit, so we'll also discuss about what is credit limit. So if credit limit is there for this customer, we can do business on credit basis. If the credit limit is exceeding for this customer, we will insist the customer to clear the outstanding payment, and then we can complete the delivery. In such case, in some cases, we will also extend the credit limit. If the customer credit score is good, we will extend the credit limit of the customer, and then we will do this transaction. So this is a overall eagle eye view of a OTC cycle in SAP. Sales order comes in, shipment goes. So once the sales order comes, we will send this requirement to MM guys. MM guys will send requirement to vendor, and then they will receive goods. So once the goods are received, we will send it to production through production order. After production, we will send it back. The production people will send it back, and then the production cost will be incurred in this. Yeah, finance is the heart of any business, so everything is linked with finance. Okay, once the product material is produced, again we will deliver it to the customer, and then the customer will pay money to us. That is called incoming payment. So this is how it is. Account payables and account receivables, everything is portrayed in one go. So here you can also see the integration where what at what times, at what particular points we integrate with different modules like FI, MM, and PP. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is how it is. Tomorrow we'll start from the organization structure. So I'll explain you this organization. I will give you a brief about what is this org structure here, and then we'll discuss. We'll start with the org structure from tomorrow. So org structure is a blueprint of a business. Let's say there is a company which has two plants and three sub companies or sister companies. So we can interpret that company business model here in this form of organization structure. So company stands for the parent company or the actual client, whoever we are doing business with. For example, if we are doing business with Walmart, Walmart will be the company. And if Walmart has different sub companies like logistics, Walmart productions, Walmart transportation, Walmart transportation, something like that. So all those three divisions will be sub company, sister companies or company codes for us. There are a group of companies. If there are a group of companies, there will be one parent company, and then there will be all these will be the child companies. So company code is the highest hierarchy of this sales organization. Sorry, of this enterprise structure, and then all the business starts from the company code. So it is also a legal entity. Each company code is a legal entity, and it has its own chart of accounts. It has its own profit and loss statements. All the accounting documents, whatever we maintain for a company, will be separate for one company code. So each company code represents a company here, a legal entity. So under so here the company and company code is a one-to-many relationship. So two different companies can be under one company, but then uh, the vice versa is not possible. Okay, so if we have two different companies altogether, so this company code cannot be assigned to another company, so that uh, backward link is not possible. This is only a one way, one to many relationship where one company can have multiple company codes, and each company can have multiple sales organizations. Sales organization is the highest hierarchy or the highest point of business for the sales and distribution cycle. So our business cycle starts from sales organization, but not from the company and company code. So company and company code are created in real-time environment. This company and company code is created by the FICO guys. Our business starts from the sales org, So sales org is the highest hierarchy for the sales and distribution business. So sales org, under sales org again we will have distribution channels and divisions. Tomorrow we will see in detail what is distribution channel, what is division. Again, this is also a multiple one to many relationship. Here distribution channel can have multiple divisions and division can have multiple distribution channels. So this is a many to many relationship. Again, we will have sales offices, which is again a many to many relationship. And under sales office, we will have sales groups. So we can bifurcate or we can split or whatever. If we have 20 sales representatives with us in one single office, so we can split them into two groups. Okay, so that is the meaning of sales group. And then a company code again has a plant. This company code has two different plants. So this plant has again sailed storage locations, and then under storage location we will have multiple warehouses, and then shipping point. Again, shipping point is the highest hierarchy for the logistics execution, guys. So this is the starting point business or the starting entry point for the logistics execution, guys. So transportation starts from the shipping point. So this is the gateway, just like sales organization for us. So shipping point is for the LE or the transportation, guys. Plant is the highest hierarchy for the PP, guys. Their business starts from the plant. So yeah, this is a overview of a org structure.